Docker Compose, running and managing multiple containers. Hello friends, welcome back. In this video tutorial, we'll discuss about creating and managing multiple containers using Docker Compose. Also, we'll see how we can manage the sensible informations or sensible data like password using Docker secrets. So if you are new to my channel or not yet subscribed, please do subscribe now so that you'll get notified when I add more videos on Docker. So let's start. What is Docker Compose? Docker Compose is a tool for defining and running multi-container Docker applications. With Compose, you can use a YAML file to configure your application's services. Then with a single command, you can create and start all the services from your configuration file. So you have to just write docker compose.yml. So it's a YAML file, configuration file. You have to put all the configuration inside the file, and using one command we can create multiple containers. So here is the installation steps. You can see here. So it's a very simple. You have to just download the Docker Compose binary from the GitHub page and then change the permission and start using the Docker Compose. And you can check the Docker version after you install the Docker Compose. And these commands I'll paste all these into the description below. You can use that to install Docker Compose on your machine. What are the services we will be created in this demo? We'll create 3 services: Apache Web Server, MySQL DB, and phpMyAdmin. So Apache Web Server to host our web application, and MySQL DB to store our data, and phpMyAdmin actually a web-based tool to manage your MySQL database data. Okay, so you can connect to the database and you can see, or you can create tables, you can create databases, you can create tables, you can delete whatever you want, or you can just view, you can query everything you can do using this phpMyAdmin tool. So let's move on to the Docker Compose lab. Okay, I have connected to my terminal, and let's move to the folder or directory where I have created the project. So the folder name I have created as demo web app, and here if you see, I have kept all the project related files and folders. So here is the entire folder, entire content of this project. And if you see here, I have one folder called www. Here I have kept the web applications, and if you go and check there on cd www, and you will see one index.php file which will be used to get your web application. Okay, and next move, and if you see here, I have created a Docker file and to create an image, to build an image. If you see that this Docker file, this is a very simple Docker file, does not contain much instructions, only simple 2 lines. In the base, I'm going to use PHP 7.2 Apache, and I'm going to install on this PHP server, PHP container, I'm going to install MySQL, so that in the backend I can log into the MySQL server and fetch for the data or any issues I can able to troubleshoot. So next, what I have kept, I have just created two files. I have created 2 files, that is dbpassword.txt and db_root password.txt. I'll explain you later on this why I have created this 2 file and what it contains. So next, move into the next folder, that's called dump. So this dump folder actually contains mydb.sql file, which contains the table creation and the database creation informations. If you just check these files, you'll find it's a simple table creation statements like create table and insert into person. Like I'm creating one table called person, and there I'm just inserting this data. So this is a very simple SQL statements I have written it here. While building the image and while spinning up the container, I'm passing this information to the container runtime. So when the container will spin up, these data will be automatically executed. These files will be automatically executed. I'll explain you how we can put these informations into the container. So next is what is this Docker Compose.yml? So this is Docker Compose.yml is the main file where we are going to write all our instructions, which container and what are the services we are going to create. So let's see what inside this Docker Compose. So here I have just opened this docker compose.yaml in the VS Code editor. If you see here, it's simple. The YAML file starts with, as you know, the YAML file starts with 3 dashes, and the version I have used it here 3.7. And I have created 3 services, as I told you: UI, that Apache web server UI, and one DB service, and another one is phpMyAdmin service. So let's see each service in details. If you go and check the UI service, and you have to write in this way, like versions, then services, and then you have to, if there are any secrets or anything you have added, you have to write in the service line, the same line, and then volumes. So I have also created the persistent volume here. I'll show you what is that and how you can use it. And if you just maximize the UI service, you will see it here. I showed you, right, one Docker file where I have just written 2 instructions to create one base image, like to get from base image PHP image, and the PHP container I'm going to install MySQL I. So here the build dot, that means it is going to current context is going to build it, and then the port I'm going to expose the ports like 8080, as you know, that is 80 is our host port and this is our container port. So I'm going to publish our port forwarding to 80 to 80. And here the volumes, I have created a volumes for our web application folder, that is var www/html. For Apache Server, this is the directory where our host file application files get placed, right? And that file I'm going to create a volume with .ww/w2 in the current directory. And the links, and we need these links to connect the UI server with the database. And here you can see the links -db. db is nothing but the service. And network, default network, that is bridge network, I'm going to use it here. So if you open the DB service, and you'll see here, in this DB service, I have used MySQL I 5.7 version, the image name, and the ports. Remember, by default, the MySQL port is 3306. And here I'm forwarding that port to host port as 3306 as well. And here I have used few environment variables, that is MySQL_database, that is the database MyDB, which I'm going to use it. And the MySQL user, I have given my name Ranjit here, and then the password file. Passwords, actually here I have kept it secret, so I have kept the passwords in a different file, and while spinning up the container, the passwords will be stored in this run secrets and db password, so that the containers can be used the password while you logging into the container using the user ID. You can use that same password to connect to the database. So I'll show you how we have to create these secret passwords. Now to use this, I have used another service details like secrets. Okay, so in secrets, what I have used, the db_password. These are the secrets which I'm going to use: db_password and db_root_password. And the volumes, in the volume sections, I have created another volume path like .dump, and that is going to be what I'm going to do. I'm just mapping this .dump. I showed you, right, the dump folder where it had contained one .sql file which had contained the table creation and insert few records into that. So that file I'm going to put into the docker entry point -init db.daemon file. So whenever the container will get up, this daemon file will execute automatically, and the once the database gets created, it will create the tables and insert records for us. And this persistent volume will be like just the container bar leave MySQL. This entire MySQL folder I'm going to keep as a volume and store the informations and the records of my container into the host machine, okay, in our local machines. Networks here also in DB, I have used the same network as default. So let's move on and see the phpMyAdmin service. So if you check on this phpMyAdmin service, you'll find like image, I have used phpMyAdmin/phpMyAdmin. And links, here also we need to link the DB because we need to connect the database, to fetch the records, to modify records, to modify the table structure, everything we have to do that. And the ports, phpMyAdmin also default port actually works 80, as we already have that Apache server, and as you know, Apache server also works on 80 port. So I have already published that port or forwarded that port to 80. Now I have to give a different port, 82. So the phpMyAdmin, I can access 82, and make sure that you have given appropriate firewall access for this port number 82. And similarly here also environment variables, I'm going to use MySQL user as Ranjit, and the MySQL underscore password underscore file, the same DB password and same root password, I'm going to use it here to connect the database. And the secrets, same secrets I'm going to use here. So another thing you have to add it here, that is secret. So in this field you have to add db underscore password and give the file name. So I showed you in this file name, right? I have two files here. If you see the right hand side panel, I have two files, db underscore password.txt and db underscore root underscore password.txt. So these two files will contain your passwords, root password as well as your db password. Okay, so make sure you have to give those file details over here. And the volumes at last you have created, I'm going to create the persistent volume. Okay, so this is what all about this docker compose.yaml file, and I have written 3 services and very minimal informations you were given here with docker secrets and all. I'm going to put all these project related files in my GitHub repository, and I'll make it public so that you can download, or you can clone that repository and you can use to do practice. So let's move on, and I will see how we can execute the commands and build the entire project, and will access the applications using that IP address and the port. Okay, so I am into my terminal, into the directory where I have kept my project. So here simply what I have to run now, just docker compose.yaml file. So that's a very one single command, that is called docker -compose op-d. So that's all. You don't have to do anything else. Simply you have to write docker -compose op and -d. So what it will do, it will just execute the instructions written in the docker -compose.yaml file. So here I have given, you have seen here I have given here -d, so it is in detached mode. So once the containers are created, it will leave the terminal. So let's hit enter. So you can see here, so it's creating the DB service first, and you can see here that MySQL 5.7 image is now pulling from the registry and building this for us. Okay, it will take some time, just hold on. Docker compose has completed successfully. You can see here it has created 3 services, 3 containers for us. Okay, all are demo web underscore db, demo web underscore phpMyAdmin, and UI. So let's see. If you execute docker images, you can see the related images being downloaded and created. If you see here, demo web UI, phpMyAdmin, php is the base image, and MySQL, and this is the image which being created using the docker file. Okay, so let's see what are the containers being created. If you use docker ps-a or just using ps, you'll see there are 3 containers. You can see here there are 3 containers are running. The first container is demo web UI. This is our Apache web server, and you can see here it is forwarded to port 80, and similarly for phpMyAdmin, and it is forwarded to 82, and the next one is the database server, and the database container is running, and the port you can see it 3306, and all are up. So now let's connect to the Apache web server. So how we'll connect? So let's get the IP address where your containers are running, that is your local host. Get that IP address and hit into the browser. So go to the browser and just hit it here. When you hit, see, you can see here this has all these informations. You can I had shown you, right, the SQL file which had contained the insert statement, and it had the values as Ranjit, Kumar, and Rohit, Karthik. There are 4 records have been inserted into the container. And if we go and connect to the phpMyAdmin, so phpMyAdmin was on port number 82. So if you hit port number 82, you'll find, see, the phpMyAdmin container also running. So the password, the user ID is Ranjit, and just give the password whatever you had given and just hit enter. See, here we can able to connect to the database. We can able to connect to the phpMyAdmin, and through phpMyAdmin we can able to connect to the database. We can see here the MyDB was the databases which we had created and had given in the configuration file. So if you click on this MyDB, you can see here my person, the table is there, the person, the table name, and if you click this person, and you can see here the data is shared, ID and name. And if you want to do any changes to that, if you want to just write or delete any statement, like suppose I just want to delete ID number 2, just go here and write delete from table is person, and then just give a where clause where ID equal to 4 or ID equal to 2. So let's delete and just go for it. So 1 row affected. And if you go to your web browser and refresh the page, this ID will be deleted. Refresh it. See, let's now reflect it. Now you can see the containers, multiple containers, like our UI, web server, our database, and the application which to manage the database. 3 services and 3 containers are running perfectly. So all are interrelated, and we can manage this multi-container. So let's see what are the other commands we can use in Docker Compose. Then if you use top, you can see the processes. You can see here the process IDs and the commands and everything. If you want to that using the top commands, top Docker Compose top commands, you can see all these informations about the process ID. Also there are another troubleshoot commands you can use, that is Docker Compose logs. So when you hit enter, it will display all the logs about what has happened and what is being executed into the background and everything. You can see and try to troubleshoot if there is any issues. If you want to see any specific container logs and all, so you can just do you can just use Docker like ps, and you can use Docker logs, and you can just give the container name or container ID. Suppose you want to give the container ID of this database, just hit, and you can see all the logs of the containers. So you can use Docker Compose down to shut down all your containers and remove them. Docker -compose, then down. So when you hit enter, so what it will do, it will stop all the containers and then remove the containers one by one. So there are another commands you can use to stop the container alone. So if you want to use that, you can just use Docker Compose stop. So it will stop the containers. And if you want to start after some time, or you want to start it once you fix something, then you can use Docker Compose start to start all the containers. Let's use Docker Compose down and see what is happening. If you use Docker Compose down, what it will do, it will first stop all the containers. So stopping all the containers. After stopping, what it does, it removed all the containers as well as remove the default network. Okay, and but one thing you will see, the volumes will be still there. If you see the volumes, Docker volume ls, it will still, you can find the volume still will be there. So you can use this volume because as this is a persistent volume, you can use these volumes and volume path to find out any issues or anything and to troubleshoot. It will help you to troubleshooting the problem. Hope you understand clearly how you can get multiple containers and manage them using Docker Compose. If you have any doubt or any concerns, please do write me in the comment section below. I'll try to answer your questions. Please do not forget to subscribe my channel. You can find the subscribe button below and